I shouldn't be telling you this story. I should not be telling you this story about the shipping industry's corruption and how dangerous it is for anyone that drives on the roads. I shouldn't be telling you this story because I shouldn't have survived. And this is a story about how the shipping industry is counting on you not to survive in order for their parcel to get to where it's going, simply because it's more valuable than your life. It was the scariest minute of my life. I could have died twice. If you drive, especially on highways, pay attention to this video. It's an important warning of a highly fatal, mostly unknown, unpublicized, underreported failure of our trusty government, capitalism, and the shipping industry. Allow me to tell you about the night a rogue 18-wheeler handled my Corolla like a 5-year-old with a Hot Wheels car on Christmas Eve. In other words, it didn't give a damn. It was a slow Friday night door dashing in South Austin. And then I just decided to call it a night at around 1:15 a.m. Worried about how after earlier that day of making that first payment to the insurance company, my first car payment was looming and I was broke. So just a month ago, on June 20th, 2024, I financed my Toyota Corolla 2020 with my credit union, and I was determined not to lose it. So I hopped on I-35 thinking I need to hurry and get some sleep so I could hit an early afternoon shift. I turned off my phone after connecting it to the charger because it was just about dead. As I entered the highway, I noticed it wasn't the usual Friday night, Saturday morning traffic. So I went southbound, happily that the path was clear. Reaching outskirts of Austin, a ways away from my middle lane that I was in, I noticed a 18-wheeler in the left third lane camping for at least 2 exits. I hung behind, and as I closed in, I observed how the container attached looked new, a brushed metal with no logo or markings. After hanging back, seeing no right signal, I assumed he was ignorant to the left lane laws or highway etiquette.
Now, you've probably had the pleasure of sharing the road with an aggressive truck driver that makes a fast and aggressive lane change with only a few feet to spare. If you've ever been unfortunate enough to deal with this firsthand, you know how terrifying it can be. It's even more terrifying when you think about your kids or your loved ones or your family or your friends sharing the road with a trucker like this. When truckers drive too aggressively, people get hurt, and this is how a lot of improper lane change accidents occur.
I sped up to pass him before he attempted to correct himself. No right signal as I began to pass. Focus, hands 10 and 2. Midway, passing the container, I increased my speed. Reaching the white cab, I thought I was in the clear until I noticed the cab's right corner, a foot away from my driver's side wheel. I attempted to brake, turning my wheel right in the same direction of the cab, but it was too late. I already lost control of my car. It was in this moment I actualized the power and momentum of these trucks. It forced my car perpendicular to the oncoming 18-wheeler and thrust me across the front of the cab. At this moment, I was thinking how my mother would react finding out I was crushed, being run over by an 18-wheeler. As I was accelerating, I even remember seeing his silhouette wincing as I looked up at him from the front of the truck. He saw me. In my peripheral, I could see the corner of the truck passing me, and it looked like some of those surreal tunnels you see in movies of where everything else is a blur around you, and you're rushing towards something. It looked just like that. In shock, I survived being run over, only to be rushing past the left lane, head on into the median wall. In a split second, I turned my wheel sharply to the left and slammed on the brakes in a last-second attempt to make the farthest part of the car, from me, be the point of impact. Unconsciously holding my breath, I went limp. My seatbelt kept me from flying up. All of the airbags popped open, and my lower right leg was slammed against the steering wheel column. Both my upper arms hit the steering wheel, and my left knee hit my right knee. My upper body was thrown across the console. I immediately, in a cough, exhaled and yelled out from the pain of impact, holding both my arms up in front of me. For a split second, I thought I was unalive. All I could see was the white of all of the airbags everywhere until I smelled smoke. I saw it rising, so I tried to open my door, but I couldn't. So I leaned over and stretched over to open up the passenger door, where I realized that I was out there by myself.